Good morning. The September the 26th, 2018 meeting of the Board of Estimates is now called to order. In the interest of promoting the order and efficiency of these hearings, persons who are disruptive to the hearing will be asked to leave the hearing room immediately. Meetings of the Board of Estimates are open to the public for the duration of the meeting. The hearing room must be vacated at the conclusion of the meeting. Failure to comply may result in a charge of trespassing. Madam Deputy Controller, are there any corrections, additions, or deferrals on the agenda?
Good morning. For today's agenda, there were no protests received for today's meeting. I have the following abstentions to report. For the Honorable Mayor Pugh, there are no abstentions. For the Honorable President Young, he will abstain on page 37, item numbers 1 and 2, pages 59 to 60, item numbers 5 and 6, and page 123, item number 19. The Honorable Comptroller Pratt will abstain on page 1, item number 1 for LE Blue only, page 7, page 53, page 57, item number 1, page 108, item number 35, and pages 122 to 123, item number 18. Mr. Chow will abstain on page 118, item number 12. The item that remains on the non-routine agenda is page 128. Mr. President, members of the board, those are the abstentions that have been reported thus far, as well as the item on the non-routine agenda. Again, page 128. Thank you.
Thank you. I would direct the board members' attention to the memorandum from our office dated September the 24th, 2018, identifying matters to be considered as routine agenda items, together for any correction and addition that have been noted by the Deputy Controller. I will entertain the motion to approve all of the items contained on the routine agenda.
Mr. President, I move approval of the items on the routine agenda.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The routine agenda has been adopted. The first item on the non-routine agenda can be found on, where is it? Can be found on page 128, Department of Artists, Baltimore City Department of Finance, Bureau of Procurement, Small Purchase Procurement Card Program Audit for the year ending December 31st, 2017. Will the parties please come forward?
Good morning,
Good morning.
board members. This audit is for the Small Purchase Procurement Card Program audit. It was for the year December 31st.
Can you pull the mic up and talk directly to the mic?
December 31st, 2017. The purpose of our audit was to determine if agencies were properly using the procurement card for purchases. Before I get into the details of those findings, I'd like to state that we had some recurring findings for multiple agencies. So the two recurring findings are journal entries that were not timely submitted. Monthly statements, journal entries, and activity logs were forwarded to the Bureau of Procurement. They were supposed to be forwarded in a timely manner, but they were not. Agencies are allowed 15 days from the receipt of the individual statement to clear their account. We noted in our audit that agencies did not receive or did not submit their statements upwards to 6 months. The next one that is a recurring was the non-allowable charges, primarily sales tax. Agencies were paying sales tax for purchases. Per the Baltimore City's Administrative Manual AM 309.1-1, the city is exempt from payment of state of Maryland sales tax. Agencies which make direct purchases must supply the city's tax exempt number to the vendor at the time of purchase. We only audited a small segment of cars for approximately 2 months, and we noted $1,000, $999 were paid in sales tax. And if you look at that over the course of a year or years, that number adds up. The first few findings we'll be speaking about is related to the mayor's office. Finding number 1, questionable purchases. The condition. The Department of Audits tested the months of October, November, and December 2017 P-card statements within the mayor's office and identified questionable city credit card procurement transactions totaling $5,274. Of the total, items most questionable are listed below. During our audit, we noted $1,321 was spent on furniture and other household items to assist a homeless individual. Department of Audits has informed the office that furniture purchases for personal reasons are unallowable, as these types of purchases on a P card are city property and cannot be used as personal property or gifts. The October statement identified $513 in purchases on the squeegee core at an Orioles game for food and other personal items. Department of Audits communicated that these purchases were excessive and some were unallowable. Our audit also disclosed restaurant lunch purchases amounting to $338, many of which had no receipts, and none of the purchases had supporting documentation noting business purpose. Additionally, we saw no evidence to support the procurement card transactions were adequately reviewed and approved by appropriate agency personnel prior to submission to the Bureau of Procurement to ensure that these transactions were allowable and business related. Finally, the office incurred and paid $29 in sales tax on purchases during the month of October. We recommend that the procurement card transactions be reviewed and approved by management or authorized personnel to ensure accuracy and appropriateness of the transaction. We further recommend that unallowable purchases be returned or refunded to the city.
Good morning, Mr. President, Madam Mayor, Comptroller Pratt, honorable members of the board. I'm Henry Raymond, Director of Finance, and I'm responding on behalf of the Office of the Mayor. To begin with, I want to state for the record that this procurement card was used for the Office of the Mayor, and the card was not in the name or possession of the Mayor, Catherine E. Pugh. The card was issued for official use. The card was used on behalf of initiatives within the Office of the Mayor, and as the audit notes, some of the transactions were not allowable. The Mayor concurs with the findings. As a result of this audit, certain steps have been taken to improve the processes surrounding the use of the card, including a process that requires pre-written pre-authorization of use of the card, no verbal approvals, documentation for the retention of all receipts, and criteria for purposes under which the card can be used, what's allowable, what's unallowable. Now, with that said, I'll respond to finding one. The Office of the Mayor concurs with the finding as it relates to the $1,300 for homeless services. A reimbursement request has been made for private funding to recover the costs. As it relates to the Orioles field trip for $513, reimbursement from private funds has already been made. As it relates to the $338 for food, the Office of the Mayor believes that that's reasonable and appropriate for official business lunches.
Okay. Finding number 2, credit line limit improperly increased. The Bureau of Procurement granted a request from the cardholder to increase the credit line limit from $15,000 to $40,000 without written documentation or approval. In addition, charges did not meet the nature of emergency purchases. We recommend the Bureau of Procurement establish a process to periodically review procurement card holders with increased credit limits to ensure the limits are still appropriate and necessary.
The Department of Finance concurs and has taken appropriate steps.
Finding number 3, lack of receipts, reconciliation issues. During our audit, we noticed supporting documentation such as receipts for transactions was not maintained and submitted by the cardholder or was not adequate to support the business-related purpose for credit card purchases. We also noted that receipts for coat purchases for the homeless were not adequately reconciled to the monthly cardholder statements, but were approved by the coordinator or administrator. This could also be as a result of the time lapse before the account was reconciled. The coats were purchased in October 2017, but the journal entry was not posted until May 2018. In addition, there is a discrepancy in the amount requested for refund against the purchase amount. The total cost of the coats and cleaning were $23,961 per invoices, but the journal entry for payment of the purchases was $20,889, noting a difference of $3,072. The Department of Audits was not provided additional information on the discrepancy. The mayor's office is currently reviewing the purchases and payments for these transactions. We recommend that the mayor's office adhere to the procurement card administrative policy.
The office of the mayor concurs with the recommendation, and as a note, the office recently was able to locate a receipt for $3,000. That was the discrepancy, and that will be provided to the Department of Audits. And the final note is that these expenses have been reimbursed through the Mayor's Office of Homeless Services.
Finding number 4, no procurement card training. During our audit, we noted that the cardholder did not attend a small purchase procurement card program training class as required, or we did not receive supporting documentation to the Department of Audit stating that a cardholder did attend that class. We recommend that the agency adhere to the city's procurement card administrative policy, including cardholder attendance at the program's training.
Yeah, the Office of the Mayor concurs. We believe that the individual did attend the training, but we were not able to produce the documentation that they would have been required to sign. So moving forward, we will adhere to the AM policy.
And then the last finding is just one of the ones I told you about. The journal entry is not timely submitted. You don't have to address that unless you choose to.
I do.
Okay.
The Office of the Mayor agrees.
Okay. Finding number 6 relates to procurement. Okay. Non-allowable charges. The reason we're speaking on the procurement office findings, even though I told you they're recurring, is because we're talking about the procurement office and they're in charge of procurement transactions. Condition. Department of Audits tested 2 months of P-card activity, March and November 2017. We noted that the city was not reimbursed sales tax, which are unallowable charges totaling $187.83 from Baltimore Sun Media Group. We recommend that the agency cardholders ensure that charges be in accordance with administrative policy. We further recommend the questionable charges be refunded to the city. And number 7, journal entries not timely submitted.
As it relates to finding number 6, the Finance Department disagrees. The sales tax actually was not paid, even though it does appear on the statement. We believe that there is some type of an error either with the vendor or with our card processor, PNC. We're working with the vendor and PNC to determine the discrepancy because, in fact, the sales tax was not paid.
Okay. Finding number 8, inaccurate accounting for procurement card program users. The Bureau of Procurement provided the Department of Audits with an inaccurate 2017 cardholders population listing. Cardholders were retired from previous years. For example, they were retired from previous years or not listed or terminated. We recommend that the Bureau of Procurement follow the guidelines set forth by the Administrative Manual. In addition, we recommend the agency update user information in real time to prevent errors in P-card usage.
The Department of Finance concurs with the recommendation, and since this finding, we have updated the list and it is now accurate.
Okay. The next is Department of Recreation and Parks. And then after that, Department of Housing. 9 and 10 are the recurring findings, journal entries not timely submitted, and lack of receipts. Would you like to address them too before we move forward? Or?
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Ken King. I'm the Chief of Fiscal Services for Rec and Parks. I am representing Director Moore this morning because Director Moore is leading a team of Recreation and Parks staff in Indianapolis to begin the planning to host the NRPA conference here in Baltimore City next year. With regards to finding number 1, which
9 and 10.
journal entries not timely entered. This was a case of staffing because what happened, we had lost our fiscal tech, and we had only one person, the accounting supervisor, who was doing all the entries, and we wanted to convert the fiscal tech position to an accounting position, accountant 2 position, and it took a while. Eventually, we hired a temp, and we trained the temp. It took a while for the temp to get up to speed, to understanding our system, dynamics, etc. But however, he has come on board, and he's working very well. The accounting position is filled. In addition, we have an office support 3 position that we have trained that individual. As a matter of fact, that person has an associate degree in accounting and is training to be an accountant. So we have gotten that person involved in the whole accounting process. So we have resolved that problem. We have no more issues with that. We are currently up to date with all of our processing.
Okay.
Lack of receipts. This is an issue which we have tried to resolve on a number of occasions because of the nature of our card holders. We have about 60 cards. 45 is center directors who move all over the place, and there were times when they traveled. We have a filing system where we allow them to place their files, place their recreation, place their receipts and the documents in a particular file at the central headquarters, and it's possible that a receipt is missing. We have asked them to track that information down. Even though the receipt might be missing, we can still process that entry because on the statement itself it lists the item. So we were able to process that. Now we have a different filing system in place. We have asked them now to keep the files at the location and to be more responsible, and so far we have been very, very successful. So that is an issue that we have resolved, but I can't promise it will never happen again because our people move all over the place, but we will definitely find a way to resolve it if the case arises again.
Okay. Finding 11 non-allowable charges. Speaking on outside the sales tax, which was the first one, non-allowable recurring automatic monthly payments totaling $21.98 for Amazon, and payments that were not supported by receipts totaling $122. We recommend that cardholders ensure that card transactions be in accordance with the administrative manual. Also recommend that determination be made whether any of the amount should be paid to the city.
No, okay. With regards to Amazon, we have our marketing and media division has done some transaction which they had to do through Amazon. There were times when we actually contact purchasing procurement itself to ask for some guidance. This might be a case where it slips through. We never really get the authorization, and it's not a major transaction. It's small. These are small items. So anyway, we have resolved that. We have a system in place where we will work with procurement closely. A form has been developed finally for us to provide a waiver whereby we can submit to procurement for any waiver that we may seek for an item that would not be normally charged on a credit card. Because there are times we have Facebook charges, a lot of social media charges that we have to pay on time, but we will work with procurement to ensure that these charges can be legitimately charged because there's no way we can pay them on a check. So this is a matter that we have been working on, and we hope in the future we will have no more of this type of situation. Okay. With regards to charges that are not accounted for, we have a clear policy. If you make a charge on your credit card, you cannot account for it, you must be paid. That is in our policy. We have that from day one, including taxes. If you go to a store without the exemption certificate, with the tax exemption certificate, and you make a purchase, if you make that purchase and you pay taxes, the card holder is responsible for paying back those taxes, and that is a policy we have enforced. We have been enforcing that for the longest while since we have a credit card system.
Okay. Finding number 12, missing file. The agency could not locate a purchasing card file. The auditors were unable to perform testing for this card holder. We recommend that the agency adhere to the city's procurement card administrative policy regarding record retention.
Yeah, As I mentioned earlier, we have a system whereby we allow all card holders. We have a central filing system where all our card holders from outside the central office would deposit their files and documents in this particular central location. The strange thing about this one, because we have never really lose any card hardly, but this particular card was missing because this particular employee actually just received his card, and we thought he made come for his file to look at his documents and plan to return the file. Guess what? The employee actually got hired soon after. So we believe in me packing up all his stuff. He took that file with him. So, but we have revamped that policy. Now, what happened? By the way, it's not a lot of transactions. It was only one transaction that person did on the card, and we know the person. We know everything like that. Right now, we have a different filing system again, where we have restrict access to that filing system. So therefore, hopefully, we will have none of this in the future. But missing a whole file is very, very unusual for us.
Okay.
So all I recommend is that all the cardholders have some extensive training so that we won't be going through this. And I do understand that center directors get promoted, they move around. Yes. So I understand, receipts still at the old place, but they need to really be talking to the new director that's coming on, let them know what's going on so things could move smoothly. Because I do understand the complexity of recs and parks. Okay.
And then one that's not noted as a finding, and the reason we didn't notice is because it was cleared up during the field. We noted that Recs and Parks continue to use a P card for a person no longer employed with the agency. While we were in the field, we noted that they did terminate that card. So we did say that we would not make it a finding, but we wanted to make sure it was noted that when a person leaves, they do not continue to use an individual's card.
We understand. Thank you. We understand. We're moving forward. Okay. You said that you have policy procedures in place.
Yes,
that's all we need. Okay.
Housing and Community Development.
Good morning, Nadia Morgan, Chief of Staff, DHCD. Commissioner Braverman's in another meeting. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Pull the mic to you and talk directly. Just pull it around.
Okay.
No significant findings. 13 and 14, journal entries not timely submitted, and sales tax.
And agency have hired and trained staff to ensure that we'll be in compliance with the policy in reporting and journal entry. And the sales tax was 60 cents in relation to the Baltimore Sun. The coordinator will ensure that that's no longer charged the agency. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Human Services and then Planning.
Human Services?
Well, Human Services did not have a material finding, but the journal entries weren't timely submitted. Planning just had sales tax being charged. Next, Department of Transportation.
Oh. Sorry, is there anything about
Planning,
planning?
yes.
Planning.
Sales tax.
Did you want a statement?
Just
Yeah.
make sure we don't.
State your name.
State your name.
Sorry. My name's Jamie Kramer. Yeah, it was just a oversight with the sales tax. We've reached out to the vendor to see if we can get them repaid.
Department of Transportation.
Transportation here? Anybody?
For our review of one of the card holders we tested during 2017, we noted that a cash advance transaction was charged to the card. The agency provided receipts for the expenditures of the cash that was $30 short of the total advance. I'll read what they stated. Basically, transportation stated that the person did pay back the $30, and it has been recorded in the account. For General Services, Department of General Services.
Good morning, Steve Sharkey, Director, Department of General Services. And Ben Broche, Deputy CFO, will also be accompanying me.
Good morning.
No material findings. Journal entries not timely submitted was 18. 19, again, the recurring monthly payment to Amazon Prime of $10.99, which is unallowable.
We concur with this finding, and we are going forward with the recommendation. We're going to make sure that we limit or no longer have recurring payments through Amazon.
Okay. Health Department and State's Attorney Office, and then Police Department. Again, all three agencies, no major issues, just noted that they weren't submitting, they weren't submitting their journal entries timely. And then they had sales tax charge. This is Health Department.
Police Department.
Health.
Malcolm Haynes, Chief of Finance and Administration, Baltimore City Health Department. Good morning. With respect to the findings related to the P-card audit, the department has undergone some improvements with our staffing, which in the past has caused some delays in timely transmittal of P-card reconciliations to the Bureau of Audits. The department is now fully staffed and does not anticipate any further delays in transmittal.
State's Attorney Office.
Good morning. Wanda Carrington, Fiscal Officer for the State's Attorney's Office.
Routine type findings, findings 22, 23, and 24. Sales tax, journal entries not timely submitted, and lack of original receipts.
Okay, for the non-allowable charges, there was a small sales tax that we did reach out to the vendor and got a credit on a future statement. For journal entries not timely submitted, we have hired additional staff as well. I have an assistant, so we are working towards making sure everything is submitted correctly. And lack of receipts, we were missing one. I'm not sure what had happened, but we'll try to make sure that we follow the policies and not let that happen again.
Thank you. Police Department, findings 25 and 26, journal entries not timely submitted, and sales tax.
Good morning. Selvakumar Paul from Police Department. I'm the Chief of Fiscal Services 1. Most of the mails that goes to the centralized place on 242 West 28th Street. So from there, we get the statement little delay. That's the reason that we are not able to submit on time. Now we are going to have online access to the statement, so it will avoid all these findings. And the sales tax, I mean, some of the vendors, they are not accepting, small vendors, they are not accepting the tax exempt certificate. For example, Pizza Hut, Papa John's, they are giving 50% discount, but they don't want to, give the tax exempt. But we are working with them, and so that we will not pay in future the taxes.
Right. So if you buy pizza and they don't want to pay the taxes, then you or whoever used the card should pay the taxes.
Yes, we do that.
Okay. Or we find another vendor that, because they have other pizza companies out there that probably would accept our non-tax status.
Yes,
So
right.
if they don't want to do that, then we get pizza from somewhere else.
Thank you, sir.
Don't make a difference. We just don't want to pay taxes.
Fire Department, journal entries not timely submitted, routine. 28, inaccurate journal entries. During our audit testing, we noted the statement month August 2017, the card holder incorrectly posted journal entries as credits to budget accounts. The correct posting should have been the debit. Procurement card account was debited. The correct posting should have been a credit. Department of Audits did not note any corrections posted for this entry. We recommend that the Baltimore City Fire Department cardholders follow the guidelines in the manual, AM manual. We also recommend that the above entry be reversed to represent the true activity.
Jim Fisher from Baltimore City Fire Department, Fiscal Officer. The credit card program has gone some recent changes, actually improvements, and to take care of, and also the city journal entry program has also in the last year. So I think a lot of these are going to be taken care of by all the agencies, including the fire department, with those improvements. So the timeliness and the journal entries both.
Thank you. Last two, Department of Public Works and Risk Management. Finding number 29 and 30, journal entries not timely submitted for Public Works, and 30, lack of proper oversight pertaining to purchases. The administrator failed to review and sign off on the purchase log.
Good morning, Honorable Mayor Pugh and board members. My name is Troy Brogdon, Chief Fiscal Officer, Public Works. Yes, we concur with the finding and recommendations, and we have enhanced and are reinforcing our standard operating procedures with our staff.
Okay, thank you. Risk management, findings 31 and 32, sales tax and no receipt and journal entries not timely submitted. And then if,
Yeah, Henry Raymond, Finance Department, we concur with the recommendations.
I didn't know if Aaron Sherry, you wanted to speak about, since we completed the audit, it's been over a few months, and we met with procurement, and they did speak with us at the very end and told us about some of the changes that they have since implemented. I just thought if she could just briefly state, I think it was 3 or 4 of the changes they've made to enhance the P-card program.
Okay. Aaron?
Good morning, Erin Sherr-Smith, Bureau of Procurement. And yes, we definitely appreciated the timeliness of this audit. We are going through a major review of this outdated process, which is very manual and labor intensive. Some of the improvements that we've already made or are in the process of making include sales tax. We're going to make it a lot easier for agencies to not pay sales tax by requiring agencies to use the city's Amazon business account, which already has tax exempt status. They don't have to do that on a purchase by purchase basis. Recurring charges, we're also working with Amazon to get a government rate for citywide Prime. That's in the works. I do think they were reasonable choices, and they were approved as exceptions at the time. It did save the city money, but we're going to be working on, 1, getting a city rate, and 2, revising the policy to make sure those kind of things can be allowed when appropriate. Delayed statements. PNC now provides online statements. This will greatly reduce the level of effort and the time it takes to get this process completed. Agencies, as I believe Rec and Parks noted, they're getting paper statements all over the city, and now they're able to get them immediately online. Let's see, waiver requests. We had an informal waiver request procedure, and we have already implemented a formal waiver request procedure that allows us to document the written request and the disposition of that request, whether it's approved or denied. We've also improved our informal audit procedures. The P-card program would be informally audited on a monthly basis, but as the Department of Audits pointed out correctly, this was not a formal audit process that allowed us to track which accounts were audited and what the results were. That is now more formalized. Enforcement was temporarily suspended while we moved our office. We have now resumed enforcement, which includes both termination and suspension of cards whenever the journal entries or statements are late. Electronic records. Previously, all account applications and training documentation was kept manually. We are implementing an electronic procedure, including using workflow software to improve the transparency and simplify the record keeping. We hope to have that in place by March 2019. And then the active cards. We currently have accurate real-time information from our provider, PNC. However, the previous list of active cards were kept on a manual spreadsheet on an annual basis. This resulted in having inactive cards still on the spreadsheet. We're changing the process by which agencies are required to tell us prior to termination of someone leaving city business. That will allow us to get to those card terminations more quickly. And we are also updating the list on a quarterly basis actively in the event that we miss some of those terminations.
Can you go back to page 5, finding number 2? The Bureau of Procurement granted a request from the cardholder. Who requested that it was be increased from $15,000 to $40,000?
To clarify, there was no request to increase. The request was to approve a specific emergency procurement, which was approved, and that required that the limit be increased by that amount.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I just wanted to know that. And I'm just asking that all city agencies make sure that whoever have their credit cards also have our tax exempt card attached with it, so that there will be no question of whether we pay taxes or not. Those 2 cards should be together at all times.
Understood.
All right.
Agreed.
The audit has been noted. Any questions from anyone? There have been no more business before this board. We'll recess until bid opening at 12 noon, and we'll be in recess October the 10th. Thank you.
Good afternoon. The Board of Trustees is now in session for the receiving and opening of bids. I have the following addenda to read. B50005481. Aftermarket parts for heavy trucks and equipment. Please change the bid due date from October 10th to October 17th, 2018.
So noted.
B50005525. Aftermarket parts and supplies for cars and light trucks. Please change the bid due date from October 10th to October 17th, 2018.
Okay, both of these changes are noted for the record.
Okay, we have one more to announce that I'm not sure, it's not on the sheet there. And this is B50005481. This is...
You did that one.
Okay. Okay, right, I'm sorry. Yes, okay. Wait, hold on one second. There's one with the correction. Has the wrong date. Okay, all right. We have one that bases a correction of a date, and this is for B50005414, maintenance, repair, and installation services for various overhead dates. The original bid due date was September 25th, which is not a Wednesday, and it's being changed from September 25th to September 26, 2018, and that again is for B50005414.
Okay, so that's noted.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
For today.
Okay.
Today, the 26th.
SC 940, hydraulic improvements to the high-level sewer shed collection system. Bid security is required if the amount is over $100,000. Spiniello Companies with a bid bond. $44,633,000. Oscar Renda Contracting, Inc. with a bid bond. $55,535,450. Bradshaw Construction Corporation with a bid bond. $52,938,988. Yes, thank you. Northeast Rimsco Construction, Inc. with a bid bond. $40,700,100.
These will be referred to the Department of Public Works for review.
Yes, it is. They just been referred. No, we can't discuss them, sir. What's been, thank you.
We need to have you take the conversation out into the hallway, if that's okay. All right, thank you. Yeah. That's not going to work.
Okay. Looks like I'm looking for their copy. It's overhead. Let me see one. I'll read to be able to share it. B50005414. Maintenance and installation services for various overhead doors. A bid security is not required. Overhead Door Company of Baltimore, Inc. $378,300. Back there. Okay, thanks. We have this one here too. Baltimore Precision Door, Inc., $562,650. Okay, thank you. I was seeing I had the same again. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, good, great. Rolling Doors LLC, $348,000. Last one. All right. All About Doors, Inc., $589,650.
These will be referred to the Bureau of Procurement for review.
Sorry. Okay. Let me see, was it just one for this company? Is it just one bid? I thought there was more than one. Okay. This is all turf. It's just one bid.
Just the one?
Mm-hmm, yeah, just one bidder. And this is B500053, 5536 lawn mowers. And for this particular bid, for bid security, it's 5% of the bid. I think I found it. Yes, I have it. Yes, thank you. Turf Equipment and Supply Company, Inc., with a bid bond. I see two items. But there's not total. This item, okay. This is an item bid. Prices will not be read. And again, it's Turf Equipment and Supply Company, Inc., with a bid bond.
Okay, this will be referred to the Bureau of Procurement for review.
We'll have some checks with this one eventually. I see down a bit later. B50005537, portable generators. There's a bid security of 5% of the total bid. Section B. Oh, here it is. I see. Yeah, okay, I'll try to. Let me check yours. Okay, all right. Old Dominion Electrical Supply, subject to verification of bid bond. That's interesting. Okay. $51,040. Do if it's going to be less. This is your mayor. Your name is not there. So go write in pencil. Corelli Inc. with a check, $430,100. Okay, you know what, I was reading the way it did that, didn't realize it. Yeah, okay, yeah, let me check that to make sure. Yeah, same amount, thank you so much. I think it's gonna be this one here. Ramsey Blythe Corp., doing business as Leet Generators, with a check $392,776. Oh, that's theirs too, sorry.
These will be referred to the Bureau of Procurement for review.
Okay. B50005538, truck accessories. A bid security is not required. Mine stops at 13. Let me see this back here somewhere else. Oh, I have our items. It could be out of order. Let me look back here too. Okay. Yeah, it's way back here. Oh, that bit total. Okay, let me see if they have it from here. Okay, that's good. Thank you. They didn't bid on. They didn't bid on. It's only one bid. I'll read the top price. Okay. Acres Automotive Inc., $244,350.
This will be referred to procurement for review. That's the name of the company, because they have a different name on the check. Oh, here, I'm sorry. I need to give you. And this is B50005541. Zero-turn riding lawn mowers with accessories. A bid security of 5% of the total bid is required. This is an item bid. Prices will not be read. Halliburton Development Corp., trading as Port City Equipment Company, with a check.
Okay, this will be referred to procurement for review.
Okay, thank you. There you go. There being no further business, we are adjourned.